.17 on the docket today, IRL. Get caught up on Whatchuplayin, featuring hyper-light drifting and baby bosses? A top 3 discussion on our favorite arcade games of all time. Finally, we're going to close out the show with that community grab bag and the sweet, sweet, sweet awkward finish. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy the show.
That's an improvement. Yeah. That's something to be proud of. I'm happy with you. Well, that's really unfortunate. Now I know why. Go ahead.
How about now? Can you hear me now, chat?
Wait 5 minutes for the response?
I'll wait 5 minutes for the response. Yep, we have confirmation. There we go. So
I figured.
As I was saying, chat, I will say it again to you because you didn't get to hear it. Those in the recording did. You know, we're only 15 minutes late. It's better than 45 minutes, and you gotta have those technical difficulties and to work things out. That's why we do it monthly. So you only get one major screw up episode per month. It's a nice sampling, I think.
It's true.
Yes, wouldn't you agree? So, you've got the docket. You've heard the rundown. Let's just get into the show because we've got a lot of good stuff. We've got a top 3 discussion. We got all the things going on.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's kick it right off, though. As we like to start off every episode, and since they couldn't hear before, again, hello, chat. We're happy to have you here. Tyler, Josh, everyone, even Skinny Matt. So, IRL, we like to start the show every week with some IRL fun. Lucas, what has been going on, sir? Heck, you know what? I didn't even introduce ourselves. I'm Lucas.
That's okay.
I'm Lucas. I'm Jason. You're Lucas. I'm not even drinking tonight.
How is this going worse than the first time we did this? We had a lot of hiccups.
I get all flustered when we have issues, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta overcompensate and make up for everything.
It's true. Well, you're making up for my terribleness. Well, let me get to it right quick, because I only had one real thing happening, and I've told you a little bit about how this has been going as I've experienced it. So if you guys recall, I was talking about how I was getting called for jury duty. And, you know, everybody who I've talked to about it has said, oh, yeah, so-and-so had jury duty and they didn't even have to go in. Or so-and-so had jury duty and they just sat there for 2 hours and then got sent home. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's not going to happen to me. So thanks.
I've never even been, like, summoned. So
me either.
This is new territory.
Yeah. So, well, for anybody who's curious, obviously I can't talk about the trial at all per law, and it would be very stupid for me to do so on a recorded podcast. So I will not be talking about that until it's over, which will hopefully be tomorrow. So by next week, I should be able to clue you guys in on what's going on. But I will say my experience with the actual having to go there and the process has been very positive. The only part I didn't like was apparently they called in the most people or some of the largest amount of people that they've called before. And that was almost 200 people in one room. So we were packed in there once I got to the courthouse. Heater here. Okay, use a sledgehammer. So once I got there, we were packed in shoulder to shoulder, and it was freaking horrible. It was so hot in there, and I was rushing around. So of course, I'm like, oh, I gotta get there on time. And then you get in this hot room with all these people who are like, for a room of 200 people, it was like you could hear a mouse fart in there. So of course, I'm just like, oh god, this just sucks. So I sit down, and they tell us that they have 6 cases that day, and that one of them is a murder case, and that 60 people will be called for that case to do what they call, oh boy, I'm gonna slaughter it, but it's voir dire, I think it's called. And
I can't help that. Lucas, can you answer if it's a civil or criminal case?
It is a criminal case. Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but it's a criminal case.
But okay.
And so sorry, I just got a phone call.
Don't they know that you are recording Fluxtaposed right now and your life goes on hold? This is
my real life goes on hold so I can do this. So basically, I go there and they tell us they're going to need 60 people for this murder case. And then, so I'm like, oh my God, how am I not going to get picked out of 60 out of 200? That's like 1 out of 4 odds. Right. So I'm fully expecting, and they call all these numbers by random, and I don't get picked. And I'm like, hey, maybe I will not have to do anything and just get sent home. So second case comes in about an hour later, probably, because they've got to wait for the judge to be ready and all that stuff. And so I'm worried about these next 4 or 5 or whatever when they tell me that they need 40 people for this next one. And if they need 40 people for most of these cases, then everybody's getting selected. Most likely they'll probably be like 5 not getting selected. So I go in there and I'm sitting down and I'm just listening to the numbers. And of course, like, you have your number. So I'm looking at it every 5 seconds as if I forget it, because you just want to make sure you say here or whatever when your number's called, because people apparently can't do that. Sure enough, my number gets called for this second case. So we go upstairs, and they called 40 people. Or maybe it was 30. I don't remember, but we all go upstairs, and they tell us, all right, when you go in there, there's 14 people who will be selected to go sit up at the jury box. Also selected by a computer, because the computer software automatically fills out the jury box, and then the rest of the jury or potential jury will sit in the seats that the audience would normally sit in. And so I got selected for this as well. And then they start there. So I get up there, and we go through about 5 people who are eliminated for one reason or another. And I was not eliminated for any reason. So I am on the trial case, and it is tomorrow will be day 3, and we're hoping to wrap things up. So the first day was getting selected and going through the process. Second day today was doing most of the actual trial. Third day we'll be wrapping that up, and then deliberation. So I will be able to talk about it hopefully after tomorrow, is what I'm hoping. The good news is we're only there from 8:30 to 1. I had to be there early the first day, but for the selection process. But 8:30 to 1 is guaranteed, basically. So if not earlier, to get out. So we're not like there all day and like, sequestered, so we can't have our phones or whatever when we take a break and whatnot. Yeah. So
that's nice, at least.
So that's my jury duty.
You're doing your civic duty, my friend. You're giving back to society after years of leeching and everything else you do.
Horrible. Part of my mind was like, okay, what if this is just a ploy to get me to the courthouse so they can arrest me for some ridiculous thing I did, like, and not even know it, or, you know, for like all the downloading I did as a kid because I was stupid and just like, oh, I can torrent movies and games and whatnot. What's the What's the statute of limitations on that one? You know.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's been my experience so far. Very positive. I didn't care if I was selected or not, really. So I have no problems with being there. I find it very interesting, actually, and it's not really that boring, honestly. So
all right,
it's pretty cool.
Nice. I've always been curious of how it works. So since we were called out in the chat last time for beer shaming, I just want to point out that I have a Guinness mug here with tea with tea in it. So there's that. It's not very exciting.
A manly beer.
Yeah. So, all right. This is the main event of IRL this week, my friends, and I don't really know how to preface this because it was bizarre.
Yes,
so
it was.
last weekend, my youngest brother, who is expecting his first child, about mid month, we'll say. So we had a little diaper party for him, and I found out that's a lot more regional than I ever thought. So if it's something you're not familiar with, traditionally how it would work, I'm told, is that the expecting father would have, the friends over at his place. He would provide beer for them. They would bring diapers. That's how it works. But I've never been doing like that. We've always just gone out somewhere. The invitees, the guests just bring diapers and they just have a good time.
Yeah.
So for my brother, we went to Dave & Buster's. Lucas, you'd never been.
No, I was really excited because arcade and whatnot. So
yeah, I mean, you don't really. It's a dying breed, So we get there. You and I get there like at the same time, well before everyone else, and we kind of like did that awkward. Did we get the time wrong? What's going on? Because
Right.
Nobody else was here yet. And usually my brothers are they're not like my dad. They're usually on time. They're not late. And so we just hang out at the bar, and there was just us there. You and I at the bar, and then like a group of two guys, a couple seats down.
We had enough time to walk around even, and then we were like, "Oh, I might as well sit at the bar."
Josh says, "Yeah, no one does that weird diaper fiesta shit."
Yes, they do. Just because you don't do it doesn't make it weird.
So, we're just hanging out at the bar. Eventually, everyone gets there, and we had just our first drinks, and all of a sudden, we've just been talking for a bit. And I think those guys next to us said, "Hey," once already. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this one guy's just like, "Hey, I want to buy you guys look." I don't remember what he said. Something like, "You guys look like you're having a good time. I want to buy you guys a drink."
That's basically what it was.
Okay, they have what I'm going to call the Tower of Power there, and it's like these just these tall canisters. I'd say I think it was 100 ounces.
Yeah, just a little bit over.
100-ounce cylinder with a tap on it, and he's like, "I'm buying you guys one of those. Pick whatever beer you want." So it's my brother's party. We let him pick.
Terrible beer selection, by the way.
Yes, I was. Yeah, that's besides the point. He picked Dos Equis. So this guy bought us one of those. So we're drinking that, and then he just continues to start chatting us up. Starts, brings my brother over, talks to him all about what's going on, introduces himself. What was it? I don't even remember. I don't remember. Never even caught his name. I don't remember his friend's name. I think you talked to him a little more than I did, but
I don't remember either of their names.
You don't remember. No. Needless to say, this guy. Then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, we're doing shots." He kept buying shots for everybody. My brother kept drinking this fancy ours. It was like in a martini glass.
It was
but it had
apple
like this
teeny or something.
Yeah, it tasted like a Jolly Rancher. It was some fancy drink. He kept buying those. He'd give us the token cards loaded up with points, and we just play game. I mean, this guy, he's like, "Don't worry about it, guys. I make a lot of money. Don't worry about it." He's like, "I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. You don't ever see that." And blah, blah, his words. Yes, his words. And just, I mean, it was bizarre. He kept, "Oh, we got to do more shots. Buying more drinks."
I had 3 lemon drop shots, and I've never had a lemon drop before. I have now.
Not good.
3 of them. They're not my favorite. I'll take a straight whiskey.
What was the what was the other? Oh, and then all he asked is that we we tipped the bartender well, and then he's like, "Look at my tab. I've spent. Don't worry about it. I got a lot of money. I've spent over $400 tonight. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. I've got a lot of money."
450 when I saw.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. So needless to say, we played a lot of Mario Kart GP on this guy's dime, and had really bad Dos Equis. I think it was the Negra
Yeah,
flavor, and it just was not. I've had Dos Equis before, but this was like moldy Dos Equis. You know,
it tasted like nobody ordered it for a long time because it
yeah.
was. I had it at On the Border, and it was delicious. I mean, you would expect it to be because it's a Mexican restaurant, but
Yeah.
I keep mousing over your face, even though I said I wasn't going to.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I wasn't gonna call you out on it, but
I'm sorry.
I'm just curious too. Chat. Oh, there was chat. How does my video look? I'm just curious because I can't tell too much on this feed if I look choppy or not. Yeah, that could be the question. At Dirty Tap Lines, I'm sure that could be the case, or especially if it's not. What was that?
Filled with mold, like it wouldn't even come out. They had to it was like, and then all the mold went in the glass.
It was its own filter.
Oh,
the mold filtering the beer. That was the worst part though, because we went there and I was really looking forward to having a stout. I've had a lot of pale ale, I've had a lot of IPA. It's cold out. I want that stout. And my only choice is Guinness.
Yeah.
And it was just nothing. I like it. I don't get me wrong. I enjoy Guinness. I like Guinness, but I was just
that was the best pour they had, to be honest. After getting it,
yeah.
I was okay, I'm sticking with this.
Yeah, I have a few. David Ray's in the house, and we appreciate that. David, it's good to see you. Johnny Casino, you're a funny guy. You got some jokes tonight. I appreciate
funny
it.
Guy.
And if you do go on, I'd posted on Twitter, but if you can see it on Facebook more easily, you can see Lucas busting out some DDR dance moves.
Oh yeah.
At Dave & Buster's.
I wish we had your brothers.
Rekindling the magic of your younger days.
Yeah, except for it wasn't DDR. It was some shitty off-brand because on DDR it's up, down, left, right. But in this, it's all the diagonals. So that made absolutely no sense to me at all. I mean, I'm not good at DDR anyway, but that was really awful.
Well, let's face it. It wasn't the same without playing on one of those crappy plastic mats with your socks. So you almost slide off on the carpet and bust your tailbone every time.
That's true.
So
that's true. Then I would have done well.
But yeah, so needless to say, we had a guy that has a lot of money, and we were told not to worry about it, buy us a lot of drinks, and I had to just bring my brother aside and said, "Well, I hope you realize that you're probably gonna have to give this guy BJ before the night's over because he's just gonna be expecting it." So I mean, it's your party. It's your party, man. You just gotta
he scratches our back and you suck on his wiener. That's how it works.
I don't care how you do it. Just get it done.
I was waiting for the other foot to drop. I was like, I kind of should. I kept feeling like I should just leave before, somehow we end up back at his house or something. Because that definitely was.
Right. That's how those parties. That's how they'll start. That's like the horror movie, straight up.
True.
Well, here's the other thing I didn't get to is who they didn't play any games. But who comes to Dave & Buster's to sit at the bar? I mean, they do have a good sports bar set up there. They have 6 TVs right above the bar. There are 8 TVs with multiple. It looks like on Sundays they have every football game going on at once. So I guess I could get that. But this was Saturday afternoon. So I mean, there was some college football going on. But
like I said, all the moms hated us because we were so drunk by 2 o'clock we were pretty much wasted thanks to lemon drop shots. So. Hey,
that's why you just don't do the lemon drops and you're good to go.
That's true. Stay away from the lemon drops.
Stay away from. Moral of the story: stay away from lemon drops. And if someone says, "I'm going to buy you," if you're going to do it, but power, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And really quickly to wrap up what I had. I had a role reversal. My wife had to make a Skype call, and she's like, "Oh, can I record that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can set that up for you." And which is use my magic internet powers, and I got to sit upstairs while she was down on my computer doing a recording. It was so this is what this is like when you up here, because it's really weird the way the sound travels in our house. Because sometimes I could hear everything, and sometimes I couldn't. I was like, I don't. This is weird. I don't. What's going on? And Aiden was asleep, so I was just like, doo doo doo, you know. It's kind of interesting to see, see how the other side lives.
You played Switch, didn't you?
No, I didn't actually. I think I might have played a little Animal Crossing, a little Pocket Camp, but
Ooh.
that's
Pocket
about
Camp
it.
sounds like a horrible innuendo. Played a little Pocket Camp upstairs.
Matt, they did have the Luigi's Mansion game. I did not get a chance to play it, but they did have it.
Oh,
I didn't even play Battle Pod. I didn't even play Star Wars Battle Pod.
I'm not, I played it for the first time. Not really that impressed, honestly. I'd rather play the Star Wars Vector Fighter.
Oh, gosh. And I will say I won at basketball. Don't know how that happened because I'm like the least sporty one in the bunch. And I guess everyone else is bad.
No, you're Sporty Spice now.
And lastly, let's see, my last job, I used to go to the gym all the time, and I can safely say I have not worked out since the last job. So my wife and I are trying to get a little more active, especially now with winter. We can't take the dog or Aiden for walks, so trying to get some form of exercise going. And why do you guys got to crush me like that? I know it's not real basketball. Just let me have my moment. Just let me have a moment.
I was throwing bricks, so I can't really say anything.
So we've got some workout DVDs and stuff we're doing, and man, that first one was brutal. Yeah? It just shows I was like, you don't realize how much your body is turned into Jello until you try to do stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh. Because I'm used to be able to ask myself by my body to do things, and I can respond. My body responds. This time, no.
Like when you tried to suck on your
There's no muscles left. There's nothing left. I'm all.
I made myself laugh.
Oh, I didn't even hear what you said.
Oh, good. I hope everybody else did though. If you heard that, let us know in the comments below.
such a jerk.
Sorry.
And really, that's it. That's it. That's gonna be it for IRL. But I do want to take a little time to set aside something we didn't do as much justice as I would have liked on the last time we talked about on the show, which is Parsec. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this down the road. And the more I use this application, the more I'm blown away by how well it works. So we've talked about it briefly, but if you may not remember, Parsec is a third party. I guess I'll say third party. Essentially it's a streaming application which allows you to connect remotely to another person's PC. Its main application is to let you play local co-op games via the internet. So I don't have people over ever. I'm never going to play local Overcooked. But using this, I could remote into Lucas's computer and connect just like I was there, and we played Overcooked together. Seamlessly, no lag. It worked perfectly. We've played a few other games, Super Blood Hockey.
That was fun.
That worked fine. And you've done it. We've both done it now. You've streamed games to your laptop and played.
Yes.
Used your laptop to connect to your main PC and play games.
Yeah.
And then I took my Xbox controller to work, and I was like, okay, when I go on break today, boom, wired it up, poof, logged into my desktop, and my work PC is not good. It's just a basic. I do have what is it? Some random ATI card, nothing that has any graphical power whatsoever. But I could boot up Overwatch. I was playing Overwatch, and then I played Hyper Light Drifter. I played, no problem through, this platform. So I was curious how that would work to, try out your own PC, and it worked phenomenally. It held up great. I have seen something random dropped on the floor. I have seen that. Looks like there's going to be ways that you can, remote into you can play Nintendo Switch games. There'll be a way that you'll be able to connect it to consoles and do the same thing. I don't really know.
Shut your mouth.
You say no. I don't really know how that's all going to work.
It's magic. It's black magic to the cyber gods.
I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm really impressed with Parsec, and I love its applications because it just opens up a lot. I wish I had a laptop. I don't think there's any way my MacBook would be able to run this, but it's just, I don't know. It takes what I like so much about the Switch, being able to play stuff anywhere. So now I could play. For your case, you have a somewhat powerful laptop. You can play your desktop games any other room in the house. Essentially,
Yeah.
almost. I mean,
with this, yeah, it definitely worked better than Steam Link did. I mean, Steam in-home streaming, I should say.
mm, yeah, I've never messed around with that.
Same idea, but I found a lot of problems with mostly with buffering, like the resolution. You know how sometimes you watch a video and all of a sudden you'll get really blocky colors and it won't drop down in resolution, but all of the colors will kind of muddy together and then it'll catch back up and go back to being clear and nice looking again. I had that problem a couple of times, and not on Parsec, not at all. Worked perfectly.
I do get a message with my work PC that's like, unable to load, some whatever driver, and it's running in whatever mode, which is probably because, my PC doesn't have, an adequate driver.
Oh,
so it's just
software encoding and decoding or something like that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that too, actually. So might not just be you.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect anything. This works well enough as like a remote desktop software even, I mean,
you could do anything. It works great. Yeah, you can do anything you'd want to on your home PC. You could watch a movie. It would be fine.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Who watches a movie? I don't have a media server. That's what Netflix is for.
That's true. I'm just saying if you wanted to. And
if I wanted to. Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. You
could hack the main
And are you ready for the main event, Lucas? I'm ready for the main event.
Yes.
We came here to talk based on our experience the last weekend. It's funny because we've had a topic in mind for the top threes for some time. And I've been struggling with it. I can't come up with an idea. And Lucas is like, well, we can do something else. I was like, well, I can't come up with ideas for these topics. I just can't do it. And boom, had an idea for a topic based on our adventures at Dave & Buster's. I thought, why don't we talk about our top 3 favorite arcade games of all time? What? So that's what we're going to do. That'd be a fun little trip down memory lane. Arcade games are very much really a dying breed, at least in North America. Overseas that might be not the case, but I feel like here new arcade games are. I think vintage arcade games are very much on the rise, and barcades and things of that nature. But
the new ones are all just like, win tickets or win like the loot drop thingies where you get the claw or what's the blocker, the stacker one where you have to stack all the blocks that go.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No thank you.
Callow has been summoned. Callow is here.
Good. My sacrifices worked.
So, Lucas, I do have mine in a ranking.
Oh, okay. I don't
know if you had in your particular order. I did, and I know you've got some technical wizardry.
Some hoodoo. Yeah. Enjoy a picture of an Xbox controller, everybody, when that comes in. Oh, it is janked. Look at that. I'll fix it. You keep talking. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's because I moved. God, mother effer. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. If I have that particular source, you know how the little eyes knock it out of the picture. If I do that with an audio source, apparently it mutes it too. So that's because I had all that set up that way for some ungodly reason. Anyways, continue.
I should be back. Am I back now? I hope I'm back. Lucas, can you tell if I'm back?
I know you're back. I can see it.
Okay. So we're going to take our top 3 games of all time. It's all subjective. It's all for fun. We'll share ours. We asked you, the listeners, for your feedback. We got a ton of it, so we're going to share those rapid fire as well. Chat, thank you for being on point and helping us diagnose whenever I drop out of the feed, which is going to be quite frequently, apparently.
So, yeah.
Lucas,
yeah.
Whatever's best for you, because I know you got the video component to go
up.
I'm
ready. I'm ready.
Do you want me to go with one of mine first, or do you want yours?
Yeah, then I can concentrate if this gets effed up somehow.
Okay. So starting off, I had to think, there's of course the games from my childhood really rank highest. You know, had a lot of fun with those. But I really, when I sat down and thought of games that I played a lot, and really I really did play a lot at the arcade. One of the ones that really stood out to me is House of the Dead 2. Oddly enough, which was in when I was in high school. Actually, when I was playing the most, there was an arcade that actually would be at the mall that I actually live 5 minutes from now. It's non-existent, but back then there it was. It was called like Kahunaville or something like that, and me and my friends would go there and play House of the Dead 2 all the time because we had to get our zombie fix. I think we actually, I never thought we finished it, but we definitely we plunked. Yeah, we plunked a lot of tokens into this bad boy, and wow, looking at it now in this video, I remember looking so much. It looked so much better. Gosh, it looks bad. Oh, it looks bad.
Well, the voice acting was the best though.
Oh, Gary. Yeah, the voice acting was golden. But you know, we played it, and then all of a sudden one day, my buddy comes in to school one day in the cafeteria at lunchtime, and he writes me this note. And it was just this long acronym, a bunch of letters, and I was like, I have no idea what this means. And then he finally told me he had gotten a Dreamcast, and he got House of the Dead 2, and he got light guns. So then we would just go over to his place after school all the time and play the Dreamcast port of it. But for the longest time, we didn't have the 2 light guns, so someone had to use the controller to try to play.
Oh Lord.
That does not work well.
Is that where you have to like scroll across the screen?
Yeah, so you have to scroll with the left with the thumbstick and then shoot. And
can I just say that this person is clearly emulating this because every graphical glitch known to man is going on everywhere.
Yeah, like I'm watching right now, and like the cars twitch in and out, and I can't say I saw the House of the Dead movie. I think I feel for you that you did, but I'm gonna bring out chat calling you out and saying you quote unquote accidentally. So, Johnny, I'm sorry, man.
So, House of the Dead, huh?
House of the Dead, you know, I always loved the zombies. You know, going back to...
Zombies are some of my best friends.
Nobody watched zombie movies as good as I did. Going back to the 1990s remake of, you know, Night of the Living Dead, I always loved zombies, so this was like probably one of the best ways to shoot zombies, you know, in first person. You know, Resident Evil, love Resident Evil, but this was a total different take. So I love that first person zombie shooting. So House of the Dead 2 is my first edition on my list.
Nice. Okay, well for me, this is one that I really enjoyed, but was never able to actually play. Also apparently being emulated much of because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And that was when we took a trip to Montreal. We went to an arcade there, which was weird because wasn't it kind of like open air? Like it was an open air arcade, I feel like it was.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like it was. And so at the time, I believe we were sort of jokingly into Initial D, which we would always... I feel like we found the Space Boy song before we found anything else.
I got introduced to that from who we went to Montreal to visit. That's how I got introduced to Space Boy.
To Space Boy? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to jump forward through this bull crap.
Your desktop's got a sweet person running.
That's not mine. This is the video I apparently chose.
Oh gosh, this is their video.
Well, because they're showing that I think they're showing that they're.
Yes, Josh agrees. You got your driver's license card with this, right? You had the little card that you had to put into the machine.
Yes, that's true. Yes, exactly. And so I believe this is stage 3 because they've made like 7 more stages since we played this. But I went back and I looked because it wasn't. This was released in 2002, I believe, and then the next one, stage 4, was 2009. So there's no way it could have been stage 4. Now, what was really cool about this game, or at least what I remember, is that it doesn't really seem to take any driving skill at all as far as realistic driving skill goes. Because when you drift and everything, it is very kind of... I don't know, like when you turn, you are kind of already automatically drifting. You don't really have to do anything to drift. It's just kind of like they want to make it as as like the show as possible while keeping it open for anybody who wants to play. So it's no, you know, Dirt 3 or 4 or anything like that, or Dirt Rally where you have to actually drift like you would in a car.
Yeah, but you get to corkscrew down a mountain
at like 90 miles per hour. Yeah, exactly. And you got the cup of water in the cup holder, and you have to drift so well that it won't spill over. That's the only part of the anime I remember.
Is your Nissan 300 in the game?
I don't think. Reconnection successful. I didn't even have to do anything.
And we're back.
And we're back. So now that you can actually see some of the driving, stupid ass video.
Yeah, no kidding. There was like, I'm watching the stream in the corner. I'm like, I don't even think we're even gonna get to any video of the gameplay before you're done talking about it. So.
Well, the way I have the player set up, because of the way I had to put it in this window, I can't also have the controls, and there's no way to like get them on a different screen. So that's why I haven't been skipping through. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I mean, this was 2000. When did we go to Montreal? 2004.
I was 20. I was 22, I think, or 21 or 22, and you were like barely 19.
Yeah, barely legal.
It was a while ago.
So it was a long time ago. But back then, you know, this was smooth gameplay. This was racing at its best. And of course, I didn't have
hotness.
Yes. So yeah, I guess if I had to say that they were in order, this would be number 3.
Okay. All right. Well, my next pick is one I have talked about on the show before, and this was almost going to be my number 1, but Josh just asked if I heard of the arcade game Air Gaze, and that I have. Isn't that what was the SquareSoft fighting game?
That's what I thought that you were talking about. Air Gaze.
That's what I thought too.
Air Gaze. I didn't think it was an arcade game.
No, I had it for PlayStation. I don't know if that's the same thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but I'll go into mine and I'll let you catch up. Miss Pac-Man, because it can't be. Here's the stipulation though. It can't be standard Miss Pac-Man. It has to be the tabletop version. The competitive tabletop version of Miss Pac-Man is the best ever, especially when it's at a bar, because you just get the beer sitting there, you got your buddy on the far side, and it's just. For being a turn-based game, we got really competitive with it, and it just made it so much fun. And I don't know,
We're also drunk, so that helps.
Well, yeah, that always helps too. But it was fun to try to beat your buddy's score. And I don't know, I don't like a ton of classic games. I like a lot. Like I love Dig Dug.
Yeah.
I love Miss Pac-Man. I like Joust. You know, I like a lot of the old classic games, but this one is probably one of my favorites, and I don't just for that experience, you know, alone. And I think that's probably what you'll tie a lot of these to is like the specific experience of that game took part in. So that's why that checks that box for me. And Josh says he did play it in an arcade in the White Mountains. It was the Final Fantasy fighting game. Because I just remember liked it because you could play as, Sephiroth and
Cloud versus Sephiroth.
Wow! Oh my God, Masamune versus Buster Sword. Yeah, I did play that. I owned it.
Give us a nerd boner.
I don't know. I can't really gush too much more on Miss Pac-Man. I feel like everyone's played Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, we know.
Well, Miss Pac-Man. I can't really explain it a whole lot. It is what it is, you know.
That's true. All right. Well, I will continue. I'll keep this train a rolling. It'll come around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I played this arcade game in 1994. It probably wasn't 1994. This is one of 2. Now, see, here's the thing. I have to give you a little bit of background information on this. It is Area 51, first of all, so we'll get the... Oh, yeah. We'll roll 20 minutes of this video so we can actually see some gameplay. But I want to give some backstory on this one because my arcade experience is very limited. Because we didn't really.
Can I just ask? Could I interject and ask? Did you play this at the Greenville Theater?
Yeah, damn right I did. Because it's the only place I had to play arcade games, which is, of course, the second one on my list will be also at the Greenville Theater.
Yeah,
because
I played both of those there. Then.
Yes, they had a wall of about 6 games probably, and maybe 4 of them worked at any given time. And of course, one of them was that stupid game where you put a quarter or a penny on a rail and you try, and it goes back and forth, and you have to try to get the prize or whatever. And so Area 51 is a light gun shooter, and it has FMV graphics. So you know, you get video people in digitized backgrounds. And so it looks very kind of like Mortal Kombat-y, except for a little bit better because it's running on arcade technology. So there you can see some of the 3D graphics, as it were. Stay low! I still remember that. And so yeah, you just go through Area 51 and you shoot people, and then eventually you shoot. Okay, so alien infected personnel, and then eventually I believe there are aliens.
There's aliens?
There's aliens. And I always shoot the good guys because they would pop up out of the corner of the screen. Like that, right there. So one of them just ran across the
shot her
for no
right
reason.
in her over-sexualized cleavage.
That's right. She looked like Sonya Blade, but she's not Sonya Blade. She's in a completely different game, and it's called Area 51. And you shoot things with light guns.
I like this game. I played this a lot too at the theater, and yeah, I mean, it's because you didn't have a whole lot to go, you know, a whole lot of option, but it was still a fun game. I mean,
it's kind of House of the Dead. It like continues that tradition. It's just they're not zombies. They're basically zombies, but they can shoot guns. Is what I'm saying. They're infected humans, as they
infected humans. Yeah, so, I always liked that. I like the little like lens flare effect of them shooting, but I like how they just explode in a cloud of visceral gore and like the skull and crossbones like. Ah!
I told you, it's got kind of a weird Mortal Kombat vibe going on with it. Even though
it does.
It's not as
takes me back. Oh gosh. Oh man, this person's bad. They're shooting all the stars.
I don't think anyone's playing. I think it's just the.
Oh, it's just the demo reel?
Demo. Also,
Probably.
This was always the loudest game out of the 6 or whatever that were there. This one always had like the volume turned way up. So you're just like, oh, what's that? I'm gonna go play that now. So yeah, Area 51.
Area 51. All right. Well, my last on my list probably is the most deserving on this list, and based on responses I got, it was a popular entry on the list because this really captured my childhood. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game.
Oh,
the granddaddy. I think it's almost fair to say one of the granddaddies of all beat 'em ups in the arcade. Just Cal asked if we ever played Narc. I don't think I have.
I never played it on.
I played a console version.
Yes, I never played it in arcades. I know it's better in arcade.
Everything's better in arcades. So, I mean, what can we say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, I think just about everyone's played that. I always remember playing distinctly in my childhood. I don't remember what city we were in, but they had the cabinet, and then they had a TV mounted. It was either TV or monitor mounted on top of the cabinet, so other people could watch. And I remember me and some of my cousins, some of my step cousins, and somebody else. We were all playing. And I remember my dad and my uncle feeding us tokens to keep us going, and we got so far. And like it's like those memories that everyone has as a kid, when then there's a bunch of people like around watching you and like cheering and getting excited and like cheering you on, like, yeah, we're gonna beat this game. And then it's like, no, we're not, because it gets incredibly difficult. But
the damn rolling
so
balls.
Much. The rolling balls, yes. I mean, this was the preeminent video game version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at that time. You know, we had, I can't remember the order of releases. I don't know if we had when the NES game came out, but let's face it, that game was hard as balls and wasn't fun to play.
The one you're talking about, the one that
the original.
Oh, the really bad one.
Turtles game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that came out first because then the second game was a loose port of this. You know, yeah. They shared similar levels and enemies and mechanics, but you know, it wasn't quite the same.
Who's your turtle?
Okay, it was always Leonardo. That was always my favorite. But then if I would play this now, I'd almost always go Donatello for the reach advantage.
Yeah, Donatello's my boy.
You know,
He knows how to use a bow staff. It's really
sweet bow staff skills. Yeah.
Didn't he have He had a jump where he like stuck that thing between his legs too. Like when he jumped, it would go between his legs. I feel like maybe it's only on the NES version.
It might have been
because they all. That's right, because they all have the kick. They all have the kick too. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but I know there's in one of the games he does stick it between his legs, or at least that's what it looks like. Is this also the one where if you can get your toe stomped on and they go my toe, my toe?
I can't remember. I know that. Oh gosh.
Because that stuck in my mind since I was.
Yeah, I don't remember if that is this or the Super NES version of Turtles in Time.
Shredder's
NES. I will say that will probably be my Turtles in Time is probably one of my favorite Turtles games, but this one is still great, and I think graphically, because they chose that slightly cartoony style, it still like holds up really well. I think visually. I mean, it helps that type of sprite work is popular now, but I think like some of this other stuff that we see, it looks dated. Like House of the Dead 2 looks really dated, but this stuff, it just holds up really well. Like it has that nice animated look. And
tonight I dine turtle soup.
So I think rightfully so, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's my top of my list.
Nice.
Great memories with that game. Played it a ton of times, and then once I realized you could have it on emulator, it's like, oh my gosh. And honorable thing about it, they had that HD remake that came out on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah, I thought I was
back in the 360 era too.
Those were the days.
That's right.
All right, well, I guess I'll go with my number 1 on my top 3 list. Now, this is a game. And this is a game that once.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're completely fine. Just be you, man. Don't apologize. No regrets. This is a game that also hung out in the local theater, and I have a very specific memory of this game. Now, I remember playing this game when I was like 12, and this is the game Tekken 3. Do I want to play? No, get out of here. All right, Tekken 3. And I picked this particular video because I believe, if I remember correctly, and I mean, my memory is awful, but I believe I was playing as King, and there was this kid who came up who was much older than me, so I was like 12. This kid was probably 16, 17. He comes up and he's like, "Do you mind if I play?" And I'm like, "No, that's fine." And I was all excited because I was there with my mom to play or to watch a movie, and I didn't have anybody to play with. And at this point in my life, I'd never really played an arcade game with anyone else. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I get on there, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. I get my ass handed to me. I don't think I landed more than 1 or 2 hits. And, we were getting ready to leave. That's what it was, because I remember leaving, and I got in the car, and I started crying because I was so upset that I lost so badly. I was like, I'm just so embarrassed. I did so badly. It was really, really sad to think about now. But yes, I was very upset that I couldn't hang with the big boys.
I didn't play this. I played when they had Tekken 2 there. I played that a ton. I didn't play 3.
I thought it was Tekken 2, but I was looking it up, and it said that they removed the player that I thought I was. So I don't know if they had Tekken 2 and then upgraded to Tekken 3, or maybe I'm thinking of Tekken 2. But let's face it, the two, there's not much of a difference.
Yeah. I mean, I played 3 a ton. I had all the Tekkens on PlayStation, the original. I played 3 a ton. But Tekken 2 is was my favorite in the series. But I'm glad you put this in there because it's probably still my favorite. Like those 2 and 3 were my favorite fighting games, hands down.
Yeah,
a lot of great memories with that.
I always liked Mortal Kombat, but this was one of the first games that had that potential to actually be a serious fighting game, I guess, whereas Mortal Kombat was kind of a joke, and I wasn't ever really good at Street Fighter, so I didn't really see that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. Yeah. I'm better with the fluid combos and not so good with the stuff you have to do in Street Fighter.
Right.
I feel like it's a little lot more disconnected.
It was like a race between this and Virtua Fighter. And let's face it, Virtua Fighter just doesn't look good, you know, because they was like super blocky, really polygonal, and this was just a lot fresher.
Plus, it had those sweet effects when you kick and punch people, and it gets all like sparky.
Cal just asked if he did the Triple H suck it when he won, and probably. I mean, he's a wrestler, so if it was King,
that would be around the right time. I think it was 1999. So maybe maybe it wasn't this one then, because I would.
Armor King was my jam.
Gunjack, basically
Gunjack.
Terminator.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so many characters I forgot about. Then it went. I didn't make the jump to tag tournament. It just wasn't my thing.
That was a lot of people's jam, but I always thought 2 fighters on each team was too much. Of course, I was wrong, because then every fighting game under the sun did it after that. So,
Cal, I would say you did guess about NBA Jam. That would have been a good one on my list, but I had a lot more fun with that on console. So
that's true. It's the only place I played
than I did in arcade. So those were our top 3s.
Yes.
Lightning round, because we got a ton of you guys wanting to share your thoughts on this topic. So we're gonna hit these up. Starting off with Josh Bones, who's probably still in the chat sleeping right now, said X-Men Arcade, dude, and like The Simpsons, and of course Turtles in Time. So I agree with you. Clearly you're a fan of. Make sure my audio carries through.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Clearly, Josh, you're a fan of the beat 'em ups, and I don't fault you there, because I loved all those games. The Simpsons is god awfully hard. Oh, it's hard. So hard.
So hard.
Lucas, we can just alternate back and forth.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was too busy looking at how beautiful I am in this. Marcel Benoit at Sven the Moose 97 says, that's a pretty good list. I'd probably
This was in a direct reply to Josh, by the way.
Yes. Good on you, mate. That's a pretty good list. I'd probably swap out Simpsons for Capcom versus Marvel, or Street Fighter 2, though.
Street Fighter 2 is, I feel like Street Fighter 2 is like the penultimate arcade game, just because there's been 80 versions of Street Fighter 2.
That's true.
That is it was always a staple of the arcade.
It was a little before my time. I played that on home console. Never really realized it was an arcade game, because it wasn't at the theater, so I didn't play it.
Yeah, unless you came to Grand Rapids or went to Lansing, which for us would have been, an hour plus trip. We had no arcades around us. I don't even think Greenville, maybe like Greenville had like their laundry shop. Their one laundromat had like a few cabinets, but they didn't have an arcade. Dave K, which I was hoping to hear from Mr. Robopig. He is an arcade guru. Only 3? Mr. Do, Star Wars, and Cliffhanger.
I don't know that one either.
It's Stern LD game with Lupin anime footage making up the gameplay. So, I got sirens going off right here. Hopefully they're carrying the stream.
All right. Well, I don't know.
It's a shame Matt just had to leave before we could get to his.
Oh, wow. I guess he's getting his comeuppance then.
Life finds a way.
Skinny Matt at Skinny Matt K, who is dead to me now, says, in no particular order, Rampage, Dig Dug, so getting some classics in there, and then Demolition Derby, the 4-player.
Ooh, he provided a picture of that too. I've never played that, but it looks crazy.
That does look crazy. Honorable mentions for him were NBA Jam, The Simpsons, Elevator Action, and Tapper. Not beer.
That's a great game.
Definitely root beer.
Definitely root beer. Kevin Austin's Rampage, Simpsons, TMNT, and multiplayer X-Men arcade game. That's 4, Kevin. We only wanted 3.
He said or. So I guess it's like whichever one we feel like kicking out.
I mean, they're
all 4 players except for Rampage, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I ever played the Rampage arcade game. I think I only played... No, I have. I take that back.
Kevin's showing that he is a huge fan of the foursome. So that's cool. CMDR Uridium 242 at Uridium242 says Galaga, Vulcan Venture,
I'm not familiar with that.
and Robotron.
Robotron.
I'm not familiar with either of those. I mean, I'm familiar with Robotron, but not as an arcade game, I don't think.
Oh, same thing. You're that little guy in the middle, and there's all those robots coming at you, and you just shoot them up.
Oh, so classics then.
Yeah. This next two come from Discord server. Tom Servo, definitely Time Cop, Area 51. The foot pedal for the in and out cover was genius, which I do agree. Time Crisis 2 was Time Crisis was an improved version on those games. I think
Time Cop is a Van Damme movie, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's probably what I think he's talking about Time Crisis, but we got Time Cop in there.
Nobody ever misspeaks around here.
No, I never do that, especially on this podcast.
Quick story. We went to Pinball Pete's in Lansing, and they had a game similar to Time. Now I'm getting screwed up. Time Crisis, where you had to physically duck instead of use a foot pedal. It was awful because you want to talk about how out of shape you are. Try ducking and holding it, because you could shoot from that position for in and out constantly for 5 minutes. It was awful.
Yeah.
You got to the point where you just wanted to die because you're like, my core strength is terrible.
Yeah, I definitely loved he talked about the feedback on the guns too, and that was huge. We just played Aliens at Dave & Buster's, and it was sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. You'd have the feedback on the rifle, and it would feel so great, but then when it wasn't working, you're just like, eh.
It feels so lame when it's not kicking back.
So lame. And I'll take the next one as well. I Melt No Wet Ham, also known as Matt on Discord. He didn't play the arcade version, but Super Mario Brothers 3 had the Mario Brothers original game as a little competitive mini game in the 2-player mode, and he had a lot of fun with that as a kid.
Nice. Stephen McFarlane at Stephen McFarlane. Shootout. I think that was shout out.
No, Shootout. He has a YouTube link for it there too. It was this weird. It's kind of almost like Hogan's Alley in a way, but you're shooting actual people.
I was all confused. I didn't understand words.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm looking at the video, and once again, somebody's doing it on me. But yeah, totally. It actually reminds me of Dick Tracy, because you can still see your character and you shoot in the background there a little bit. But Hogan Alley inspired art for sure. Double Dragon and WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Boom.
I remember
Love that promo work with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. And
that's the one where it's basically Mortal Kombat and you fight, I'm pretty sure. The Undertaker will hit you with a glowing tombstone in the face and stuff like that.
Is that Doink I can see there? Yeah, it is, because he's using the electric joy buzzer on somebody. You can kind of see a skeletal silhouette.
Yep. You are correct.
Good old Doink. Callow, before I lose in the chat, Callow had gave us his 3, which are Narc, NBA Jam, and Crazy Taxi, baby.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Crazy Taxi is a good addition. Russ Pontius said TMNT, the arcade game, Combat Tribes, and Time Crisis 2.
There you go. Tyler Rowland says Galaga, Miss Pac-Man with the Speed Hack, and Donkey Kong Jr. So those are classic arcade games.
And our last one for you, the listeners, came from Graham, Mr. G Ham Ox 14 himself. My top 3 arcade games: Gauntlet, classic.
That's a good one.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
And the isometric version of Moonwalker.
What? Isometric version of Moonwalker. That's the one where you try to land the lander, right? Land the lander.
I hope it's Michael Jackson's game, which is why I did the
I guess
I think you're thinking of Moonlander itself, but
yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess in the arcade version it was isometric. I was only familiar with the Sega Genesis game, so shows what I know. I have to turn in my gamer card now because I'm dumb and don't know anything about video games.
Lucas, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Don't even get me started. Don't even. I have records right over there.
All right.
I will break them out and we can listen to them and just chill on my couch.
Lucas, are we equipped to play an overclocked remix?
I mean, we're gonna be once the thing that chooses them is pulled up, and that's what I'm doing right now. So why don't you talk about OC Remix and stop and get off my back, man?
All right, I will. So we're gonna take a little break, a little musical break. We're gonna play something funky from Overclocked Remix, as we like to do every week on the show. Lucas will randomly select. Oh, it.
Ah!
Boom. Lucas has randomly selected a song. There's a good chance it's probably going to come from Secret Amana because they just dropped a new album today called Resonance of the Pure Land, which is a new album featuring music inspired and from Secret of Mana.
Well, guess what? It didn't, so you can just shut up.
Is it Castlevania?
No. It's another game I've never heard of before. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, tell me. Tell me this game.
It's, wait for it, it's metal as fuck. It's called
Dragon Slayer, the Legend of the Heroes.
Man, that's an epic game title.
Dragon Slayer.
Boy.
I think that's what they were originally going to call Skyrim. But they were like, it's a little too on the nose.
So we are going to play this remix. We're going to step away for a little bit. This is Dragon Slayer, Legend of Heroes. It's called Feelings of Hometownishness. Our remixer is Jorito and Chris. Also, Amaterasu, Furilas, and XPRT Novice.
I'm loving it so far.
This is easy listening. It's folk. It's mellow. Acoustic guitar. You got all those things in there. So this comes from the game Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes, which released on the Falcom in 1990 by MSX.
That would explain why we're not familiar with what's
I don't even know what a Falcom is. I got to look that up.
I know what a Falcom punch is.
Is a wow. This was I figured it was Japanese. Yeah, it's Okay, so Falcom was a video game developer. Actually, it looks like. I guess. Oh, so MSX must be actually the platform that it was released on. So it looks like that. Okay, so it was released.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. We'll have to do some research on that.
We'll see if it's good by playing it and listening to it. What's happening behind the scenes?
My
switch out.
wife came in for an assist and brought me more water.
She could work for the NASCARs in the pit lane.
Yep, look at that. So, all right, we're gonna play this remix, and hopefully it's good. And we'll come back in just a little bit. We'll finish off the show with all the good stuff. We got some What You Playin' to round things out. So stick around. You don't want to miss that. So we're gonna play this, and we'll be back. And as always, you can find this remix and many, many more at ocremix.org. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Josh, I see your chat comments. That was some elevator shit right there. It zonked me. It zonked me right out.
I took
couldn't
a
even
power nap.
being called Dragon Slayer. It was very, um, well.
Well, let's put it this way. I should have said the title like this: Dragon Slayer. Not
The
screamo metal.
the Slayer of Dreams.
The legend.
All right, so we've gotten through our top 3.
We did.
We've done our IRL.
We have.
It's time for, well, we've done an Overclock remix, but now it's time. What you playing?
Can you tell me what that's from?
I have no idea what's that from. I can't. I can't. What's that from?
It's Rad Racer of all things. I do have
Rad Racer.
I have a bunch of new ones, and I'm gonna break them out over the course of, well, it'll probably take like 20 episodes by the time I get through them all, but that's just one of many that I decided to double click on.
Ooh. Very good. Very good. I like it. All right, what you playing, Lucas?
Yeah,
take it
should
away,
I go?
man.
Okay, well, so I watched this most ridiculous of movies, mostly because, as I have said before, it usually ends up working out that it's something that Isaac can watch as well, and that is Boss Baby. Now, this is a movie. The reason why I bring this up, and I don't have a lot to say about it, but the reason why I bring it up is because Mike and I used to make jokes about it, because when he works at a local video rental place, he was getting like people asking, "Hey, is this movie out yet?" And I mean, we couldn't conceive of why so many people were wanting this movie. And honestly, having watched it, it's not that bad. I mean, it's a kid movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's silly and ridiculous, but
I watched it and I really liked it. So
yeah, I thought it
Take that.
was pretty funny too. I chuckled at specific spots of it, and also I was disturbed by one thing. They have definitely worked on some booty physics for the baby, because when he dances, it's like it's disturbing. I'm just gonna say it's disturbing. But yeah, it was better than that awful Storks movie that I watched that was on. I think it was on Netflix or HBO. Yeah, don't. So yeah, it was better than I thought it would be. Another thing I thought was better than I thought it would be. Another movie is
babies are having a crisis.
Oh no, that's awful.
I didn't grab video of this, so I guess you
Oh,
don't get to see
that's
it.
all right. I'm sure everyone wanted to just keep watching Boss Baby on loop.
That's
so
I do
you
have
should
it on
probably-
loop, just so everybody knows. It will not stop, and I cannot stop it now.
Tyler just commented, Roy Moore would like them child booty physics. Zing!
Oh boy. Oh.
Mm.
I can't even. I can't even. So I was, I find that when I get particularly tired, that's the time I end up watching movies, which is weird because you would think that, oh, I lied. I do have video of it. I thought I did. It's weird because you think I wouldn't really, want to watch a movie when I'm tired, but I don't know, I was just in the mood for something kind of horror, kind of funny, and so I checked out The Babysitter on Netflix, and I didn't have a lot of I wasn't expecting much out of it, I guess, because Netflix originals can be hit or miss. This is really good though. It is. I don't know if my expectations were so low or what, but it is surprisingly funny, considering that it's not that new of an idea, I guess. But some of the things that they do are really good. And by the way, that guy is hilarious. That actor, him, so many funny parts that he does. It's very well acted.
This is a horror comedy, right?
Yeah, horror comedy, which there appears to be a couple that Netflix have done or has. So I would definitely recommend that you check it out. I don't know how it will play with the girls. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. It does seem to be kind of, well, you can see just from the trailer, there's definitely a lot of women in skimpy outfits and stuff. So take that for what you will. Just know that that's not the entire movie. It's more of a not sarcastic, but a satire of that. So at the very least, I can say I didn't feel like it was being it was exploitative, I guess. So had a pretty good premise. I really enjoyed it. Second to last, I guess, I've been playing this damn game, Watch Dogs, and I picked this video because there's not much to say about this damn game. So it's decent. It's all right, but it's just it's like vanilla pudding, you know? Like, it's all right or whatever, but it's not the best you've ever had. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything. I find the times that I enjoy it the most are when I'm in the car and I have to do things like eliminate people who are following me by hacking and stuff. The gunplay is okay. It's just, I don't know. It's tough to really relate to the main character when every time he sounds like he should be like heartbroken, he's just like, man, I wonder why this thing is happening. I gotta go over there and figure out what's going on. Maybe I'll be able to do that. Oh, either way, let's go. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. It's I don't know. I will finish it.
911, what's your emergency?
Since it's open world, I think it benefits from that because it still has that open world feel where I'm not really distracted by other activities. It's just good enough for me to finish. So that said, I will probably withhold my judgment until the end of the game to see how it ends, but for right now, it's just kind of like, meh, yeah, that happened. That's it. I went through that. I played through that game, and now I can say I did, and that's that. So, lastly, and probably the one that I want to spend the most time with, I played a game that I got through Humble Bundle, because I can't go one episode without mentioning that. I got this through Humble Bundle, but I was familiar with it before because of Mr. Jim Sterling, and that game is the Sexy Brutal. And I'm really excited to play this game because I didn't realize how much the art style is kind of
stylishly hidden in there. I've been staring at that for a little while, and it's
accentuated, really neat, I guess. Actually. It's very, it just reminds me of something that you could play on the Switch. And you might be able to, I don't know. If you can, that's awesome because I feel like it's a perfect game for that. But the mechanics and stuff kind of remind me of that too. So what you do is, you're in this casino and you don't know why things are going down the way that they are, but you play as this guy who has been given a mask so that you can walk around the casino and stuff, and you can spy on people and see what's going on in the next room, and eventually you'll unlock some powers and stuff, and you're trying to figure out exactly how to save certain people that you need their powers from, their masks or whatever you need from them. So you go through time, you'll play through, like in the beginning you play through about 4 hours of the day, and then you have that time to explore and figure out kind of where things are, and then you can turn back time like Cher did that one time. She found a way, and you can everything will play out the way that it did before, and on the map it'll show you what you already know as far as like who's in what room and whatever, and you can't be in the same room as another person with a mask, and so you have to figure out how to save this person by exploring rooms, interacting with objects, and basically indirectly causing whatever happens to kill them to backfire or not kill that person. And yeah, it's a wonderful little game, and like as you can see, it just has this neat little art style. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's got this really great the title song reminds me of the of Vinny and Spike's song when you pick them in
oh gosh,
it's got kind of that like jazzy feel to it, I guess. So I've really been enjoying this one, but I'm kind of putting it on hold because I've played through about 2 hours of it, I think, 2 or 3 hours, and I don't know. I haven't gone back into it because I want to play this exclusively until I beat it because I know it's not very long. And I ran into a glitch though where I saved the second people that I needed to save, but it didn't unlock the third. So I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And then I found out that it's supposed to unlock the third person, I believe, and it didn't. So I closed out of the game, and I'm hoping when I go back to it, everything will be right again when it loads that save game. If it's not, I am willing to go back and redo everything I did, because knowing how to beat the game, it'll go pretty quickly. So
look through the
but it's just has a lot of mechanics and stuff that are really cool. Like when you spy on people, you can only see a certain amount of the room and everything. So also that person's name is Lucas, and I thought for a second that it like read the name off of my computer or something. And I was like, does that change for everybody, or is that just coincidence? So yeah, really enjoying that one. Can't wait to play more of it.
It looks really cool. I definitely would have to like look at some more gameplay, because just these videos I've seen right now, I don't understand what's going on really at all, but it looks really
you get that feeling at the beginning until it kind of lays out what you're supposed to do. I had a little bit of a like, once you get it, it clicks, and then you understand the mechanics. But until then, you're not exactly sure how you're supposed to save this person. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, that makes sense.
Get it on Steam if you can.
I thought that you had
anybody, not you specifically.
I was to say, oh my.
Do it now.
Okay.
Shut up and go buy it right now. And that will conclude my What You Playing.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'll start off with a movie that you had previously talked about on What You Playing that is now on HBO. So my wife and I watched it, which is Get Out.
Yes.
Awesome film. Really enjoyed it. We both really liked it. Recommend it. And then you told me that the ending that is on that is different than the theatrical release. So you told me what the theatrical release ending was. I was like, oh my, that is unexpected. So I'm not sure which I like better, because I feel like they both endings are definitely changed the whole tone of the film. I think the original ending probably has some more. I think the original ending probably plays closer to like current events and current times more than what the revised ending. It definitely changes the whole tone of the film and makes it a little more lighthearted with the new ending. But didn't really see a lot of it coming. You do, but you don't. In the same way. And I like, it's very much a commentary on our current society and with racism and things of that nature. But
it also does a good job of playing on your expectations of what's going to happen in a horror movie in general.
Yes, I agree. I really like what Jordan Peele, like how he, what he's done here with it, and you can definitely get that feeling like that he, like when there's actual jokes in there, it's like they feel very familiar to his style, and it was just really it was a really fun watch. We really had a lot of good moments to it, and it was just interesting, and it felt refreshing in a way too. Mm-hmm. I don't know, my wife and I both really liked it, so I'm glad because I kind of talked her into watching it, and I think she might have thought, especially you can tell it's going to be racially driven a little bit. I think she kind of felt like that was going to be. It's like, I don't know if I feel comfortable watching that, because
it can be really in your face sometimes, like almost to the point where you're just like, okay, I get it, like you're driving home the racist point. And it sounds weird to say that, but you can do that with just about you can do that with anything, and it'll become like a little too much, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
but definitely liked it. If you haven't seen it, and I think you need to. It was really good. It was really good. We'll move along to, we're going to go into the world of wrestling.
Yes.
And I've had this, like when I saw this was coming on ESPN, I set my DVR to record it. I've had it recorded forever. And finally last week, because I kind of was in a little, a drought. I didn't know what to play. So I fired this up, and that was ESPN recently did a 30 for 30 on the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, this
is not from that, by the way. This is just sweet footage of Ric Flair.
This is sweet Ric Flair clips. But man, I didn't know, like, I didn't watch wrestling like growing up. The most I watched wrestling was someone my mom was dating was big on it. So then I kind of got introduced into it, and that was that was back right on the hype of the WCW WWF competition and the height of the Wolf Pack. You're Red and Black and the New World Order and that whole thing, and then Hogan coming to WCW.
Hogan's bad. Oh no.
Yeah, all that stuff. So like I only got to see old Ric Flair. I didn't know anything about primetime Ric Flair and everything, but just learning about like his journey into wrestling and like his upbringing, but then like just like his like the way he lived. Like you're talking about he like had to go see like a sports psychologist and like, well, and he asked him, was like, well, how many times do you masturbate a day? And it's like twice at least. And then it was like, well, do you drink? He's like, how much do you have it? How much do you drink a day? It's like 8 beers, 4 vodka drinks per day. I mean,
Jesus.
I mean this, and then and then doing like he says like he talks about he able to perform the way he does. I mean, there was no way he like should be able to function the way he was. And
so even if he was wrestling, he would drink that much?
Yeah.
Oh my God. How?
I mean, that's just
I don't want to do anything if I drink that much.
That's part of his lifestyle, He didn't want to just sit around. He's into the drinking and women and everything, and it's just mind blowing. And then just the persona, how he built that persona out, and then the tragedy of what happened with the son is terrible. But like he'll even say, he's like, there's no I shouldn't be alive. There's like his liver should not exist anymore. And then right towards the end of like when they were still filming this, he actually had a really bad health scare and had to be put. It was like a medically induced coma for the treatment. I can't remember what. I think his body, such a lot of it was his body was finally breaking down a bit from the years of abuse and.
Perfect timing where he's like flexing his gigantic steroid driven muscles.
Right. I mean, it's crazy. Like I love watching like documentaries like stuff like that on like figures, especially something like that from childhood. And like I love watching like behind the scenes on wrestling and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
You may have heard me typing. I was looking up to see if this is probably a stupid question to some people, but I was trying to see if Macho Man Randy Savage ever fought Ric Flair. And sure enough, it looks like they definitely did at WrestleMania 8. For sure. So I'd go back and watch that.
Fun fact.
Miss Elizabeth. Oh, yeah.
Moving on. I got my Xbox One S. So this is how we do on Fluxtaposed. We're topical, we're timely. And I'm sure so many people have said this because I was lucky enough to have someone gift me an Xbox One, the OG model, and then I got this thing, and it is insane, like the difference in build quality of that. I mean, it's like so much smaller. It just feels so nicer. The controllers feel so much nicer. So yeah, I've got a 4K, Blu-ray player to hook up to my 720p television.
Oh God, it's 720p.
Yeah, it's only 720. So here's the thing: at least when like coming to the world of Xbox 360, where we could actually customize our resolution, you can't do that in Xbox.
Yeah.
So on the Xbox Ones, I can't. This TV, I can't adjust any of the settings anymore to actually make the image fit. So like images, like the gameplay stretches a little bit beyond what the screen will show. So that's one big problem. And so I need a new TV, basically is what I'm saying. And then I'm still having Wi-Fi problems like I was with the Xbox One. I can't it just blows my mind that a device, I understand like, for gaming, you got to go hardwired, but this device is not even 20 feet from where I'm sitting right now, and it can't pull a good Wi-Fi signal. I think that's unacceptable for something that's supposed to be a next generation, this tier of gaming. My Switch can pull a Wi-Fi signal just fine. Plus, in my Switch, I can adjust the screen size inside of the settings to make it fit my TV, and it's not an issue. So, a couple of frustrations there. So, because of that, until I get a new TV, I might actually just put it right here at my desk, and then use the monitor and all that. But
There you go.
I mean, I got a great price on it. I mean, someone overpaid for my Xbox One, so it made perfect sense to upgrade to the One S. So looking forward to playing that. I got an awesome gift card from work for holidays, so Cal is pushing hard for me to jump into Destiny 2. So I'm thinking about it. We'll see. We'll see if I can be further swayed. And then lastly, this is a gem of what I jumped into, and I started playing this last week. I think actually after we recorded the show, I started playing this game, and that's Hyper Light Drifter, which was an indie game released by Heart Machine back in March of last year. I don't quite remember exactly the exact release date, but it's available on Steam. It's on Xbox, it's on PS4, and phenomenal game. I absolutely loved this game. I knew I always wanted to play it. Someone was awesome enough and gifted it to me, and I don't know what it is about this, but this game was made. I feel like this game is made specifically for me. It checks all those boxes that I look for in games. It's got the sprite art style, which I love. Really reminiscent. I would say the art style, the way the pixels look, is very reminiscent of Swords and Sorcery. Well, it's got that kind of blocky look to it.
Yeah, and then when things glow, they actually affect the colors around them and stuff, which I always appreciate, because you get like that, almost like the sprite pixel art, but with particle effects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And I love that. Disaster Piece does the soundtrack, so I knew I'd love that. It's got a synth heavy ambient soundtrack, which I love. The gameplay is difficult. It really revolves on combat and boss encounters. It feels like familiar to Jotun. You know, yes. the game with the Norse mythology, the hand-drawn animation, blah blah blah. We've talked about it. It felt similar to that, just in a different setting, and it's difficult to pick up at first, but then once you master that combat and the gameplay, it's a lot of fun, and you really feel good about what you're able to pull off, and it's really rewarding in a way. So, brief overview here. You know, you play the drifter, and you kind of you're in this dystopian world, and the crash course is you're dying. So you're looking for a cure to prolong your life, essentially. And the game doesn't tell you, you're not really told what to do. So they kind of really modeled this after games of the 16-bit era. There's no dialogue, there's no text, there's none of that. You're given you can talk to NPCs, and they give you little slightly animated images that would be the dialogue that's spoken to kind of give you the story. But the game, I think, does a really good way of just kind of letting you figure it out, and you just kind of get it and you just go. So there's 4 bosses you have to take on, and various things to collect to unlock parts of the world, and then you have the big final boss encounter. So I ended up finishing this last night, and I probably only took maybe 6. I'd say somewhere between 4 to 6 hours. I haven't looked at my Steam log to be certain, but I probably will jump back in and do a new game plus of this, just because I don't know what the benefit of that is, but I just enjoyed the game that much that I kind of just want to keep playing it. It's really fun.
Is there any Metroidvania stuff like map?
No,
travel?
Absolutely
okay,
no.
good.
There is not.
Sometimes I like that, and sometimes I just don't want to. Deal with that.
I'll take that back. To an extent, there is, because there are certain parts of the world that aren't accessible until you collect. There's these pillars that you're collecting. Until you have so many of those, the doors will be locked, and there are some certain locked doors that you have to find keys for, which I definitely didn't find many of. So there is that, and some alternate routes to levels that you can't get until you've already gone through a different way. But not like I would say in Metroid, where you're getting an upgrade and then doing a ton of backtracking and things nothing to that extent.
Okay.
And it's all optional, because there's certain upgrades you can get, and you need a currency to pay for those upgrades, and you find that typically through exploring the levels and for killing certain enemies. But the bosses are really fun and challenging. There's a boss battle, a boss rush mode that I've unlocked. I was like, I'm going to give that a try. That'll be fun. Got to the first boss, he kicked my butt. I was like, yeah, I'm good on that for a bit.
Never mind.
And there's a co-op mode, Lucas, so we should definitely try Parsec on it, and then
hell yeah,
we can give it a go. So Hyper Light Drifter, love it. Soundtrack's on Spotify, so you should just check that out if nothing else. So
I'm gonna.
That is my What You Playing for this week.
Perfecto.
And with the conclusion of What You Playing, that's really the end of this here podcast.
What?
I can't believe it. It's almost over. But
No
all good things
way.
have to come to an end. So I do want to thank everyone that showed up for the live stream, came on the chat. It's always great to have you guys. We always appreciate the support. Appreciate your tweets, your retweets, your reaching out to us, your comments, telling me when my audio doesn't work.
Yeah, I was going to say, dealing with
that.
our issues.
Hey, we got to get better, and you just got to do trial and error. So just think, when we're like this empire of awesomeness, yeah, right. You guys can say you helped us get there along the way, you know?
Did you say empire?
Do it. Don't forget, we have a challenge going on currently for all listeners. If we get to our next stretch goal on Patreon before Christmas, Lucas and I have to dress up like idiots and do a whole podcast that way. So
our beards will be
just
beautiful.
remember that. So just think about it. So if you're interested, head over to patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. As always, we want to thank all of our patrons, but especially our arbiters of awesomeness, Sean Capri and Edwin Callow, and our executors of excellence, Josh Berboni and Dan Anthony. We love what you guys do. You love that you support us. We're happy to have you. And make sure you're sticking tuned because we have a giveaway coming up. More details to come. And I will say that our next Netflixation will be announced next week. And I think you're going to like it. So, that, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Lucas, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week for more Fluxtaposed.